president is giving a press conference right now. Very severe tariffs coming on Russia if no Ukraine ceasefire deal is within 50 days. He's also sending weapons to Ukraine via NATO, which I don't know if that makes it better. Does it, Jason?
No, it's basically the same thing.
I guess it's not, we know they're not going to be sold into corruption. Not going to go to some Nazi.
Right.
That's an upgrade.
It's actually a very good point because there was no, transparency at all. Talk about chain of custody. We have no clue. Yeah. I saw, was it Lindsey Graham over the weekend talking about, that he was expecting an announcement today. I don't know if this is what it is or not.
Yeah, I think it is.
I think that we all know at the core what President Trump's all about, which is stopping war, which is not having it happen. I've seen a lot of negotiating power shifted in his corner, especially after the Iran-Israel thing.
Yes.
He has definitely got I don't know, it's hard to describe his or the way he does foreign policy. It's almost like shock foreign policy to where
it's Overton window.
They don't really know what to expect.
Correct.
And that's very, very good. I think this is feeding into that. I think it's part of it. We know Trump doesn't want to go to war, but now Vladimir Putin is not so sure. So I think that this is the president testing the waters here, letting that, what he's done, especially with Iran and Israel, let that kind of speak for himself and see if this moves the needle.
This is one of the things that kills me about the critics of Donald Trump, the ones who like him. I heard all kinds of people saying, oh, now look, we're going to go to war. Do you really think that that's what Donald Trump is doing?
No.
You really think he spent his whole life talking about two things, his hatred for foreign wars and his love for tariffs? And he's going to get on that's been a lifetime ruse just so he could get in and then bring us to war. He is doing everything he can to stop this war. You saw it in the frustration that he had. What was it, a week ago, where he let the F-bomb fly at the reporters as he's going into Marine One. He just thinks this is just stupid. This is just stupid in Israel and Hamas and Iran, and also with Ukraine and Russia. But he's got to be, he understands peace through strength. He's not going to send, a pallet of cash to our enemy. Mm-hmm. They'll be like, hey, Vladimir Putin, look what showed up on your tarmac. $1 trillion, and expect that to work. It's not going to work. It's not going to work.
No.
He knows he has to be tough, and that's what's happening. I don't like sending arms to Ukraine. I guess I'm better with them going to NATO, but then NATO is going to give them to Ukraine. So what difference does that make? You know what I mean? I don't understand that one, but I will tell you that he's meeting with the NATO Secretary General at the White House right now, and he's talking about this. You got to give the guy some credit on being a negotiator.
Oh, absolutely. And he's set all this up through how he's dealt with all the rest of the situations that has come before this one. He's in actually a very, very good position. He's shown that he's willing to, not only willing to, but prefers to go to the negotiating table. He tried to force Vladimir Putin, which he did a little bit, got some concessions, but they did something that they have not done since Russia invaded Ukraine. They sat down and talked.
Yeah.
He should just, if anything, he should get credit for that right there. But now, since this is not really working, he's also shown that he's willing to get tough. He's willing to say, okay, fine, that's not working, then this has to work. So now the Russians are having to weigh these two things. I don't want to see a B-2 flying over some area, anytime in the near future. Nobody wants to see that. Maybe we should start looking at this negotiating thing a little bit more. Right now, all the options appear to be on the table, and that's a good thing. The confusion is a good thing on the Russian side.
So there's a lot of talk about, from our side on Donald Trump, man, he's really, and I got to tell you, I don't see it this way. I see Pam Bondi making some bad, and, maybe I'm singling her out unfairly. I don't think so, but maybe I am. I see a real problem on that. Real problem. And that's not a problem they can't correct. They just have to do it. but I see, now people are saying, oh, see, he's just getting us into a foreign war. You really, maybe it's just me. You don't understand what this guy is doing. And quite honestly, tell me one thing that is easy for him to solve. How is he going to how do you solve the immigration thing? How do you solve that? He's already solved, nobody's coming in. He solved that. Now he's got to fight with these kangaroo courts all over the country where the Supreme Court has said you can't do it. They're still doing it. You're dealing with actual Marxists and communists who are funded by our own government in some cases, who are putting radicals on the streets to burn things down and to cause havoc and chaos. You have people now in the press who would rather take down Donald Trump and start some sort of a ground war against ICE by using video of children running from ICE, most likely not because of ICE, but because they were trying to escape. They were there without any parents. They were there as individual children. God only knows what these kids have gone through. And they were working illegally in the pot fields. So, I mean, it's bad enough, California, you got pot fields. On top of that, now you've got children, picking the pot fields for you, and you're still standing with the communist radicals? I mean, what do you do? What do you do? I mean, it's easy for an authoritarian. They say, well, he's an authoritarian. He's Mussolini. He's Hitler. Hitler would have had all this taken care of a long time ago. Trains would be running on time by this point. He's not. He's doing everything he can constitutionally. And, tell me the thing that is going his way. He wouldn't have had to waste his time today on Ukraine and Russia. He wouldn't have had to waste his time on Iran and Israel had Biden not screwed both of those places up. He'd be working on other things. Look how much time it's taken. And they love it. They love it. And they love it that we are tearing each other apart. It's hard because you got to question these things, but you also have to question them in a way where you're not tearing each other apart. And I don't know how to do that. I don't know if I'm doing a good job or a really bad job. I don't know if you perceive me as a giant sellout or, too tough. I have no idea. No idea. I don't really care because I'm just saying what I believe to be the right thing. But the one thing I don't want to do is cause more problems. Because look at the problems that the left is causing. And we're not paying attention to it. We're not paying attention to it. We've got Mamdani, who he might be he's a communist. They're shooting themselves in the foot over and over and over again. I don't know. I don't know. We talked earlier about there are some things that we can do that we should be doing.
I think that you always said to me way back when I started doing this job, when I just came on with your chief researchers, if when you are finally, if you're stuck, just start following the money.
Yeah.
That will tell you so much. I feel like right now we're stuck with this Epstein thing, whether it's because of chain of custody, whether it's because it's been 15 years.
Whatever it is.
I think that's something that a special counsel and a grand jury focused on weaponization of government as a whole. So Russiagate, everything. I think a lot of the Epstein stuff will come out with that. I think that if you started following the money just on the Epstein stuff, we can block out a lot of the other things that, seem suspicious. Let's say the intelligence connections, things like that we can't prove. We probably will never prove, but we all kind of think are there. Mm-hmm. Let's not go there right now. Let's just concentrate on following the money. That could lead us to the intelligence connections. That could lead us to a lot of other things. Look at Epstein's financial network, for instance. It is a maze. This is not how things are supposed to go. Offshore shell companies, these are facts, offshore shell companies in places like Bermuda, where we get money coming in by the millions, and then they go black. They're black coming in, they're black going out. Why is that, Glenn? Isn't that something that our financial,
Apparatus?
experts, nerds can go, wait a minute, let's focus on that. Maybe that will lead us to what we want to know.
The question is to the Treasury, were there any warnings from banks? Because banks are supposed to warn, this is like a black site. That's what happened with Hunter Biden. Remember, there were like 80-some or 180-some warnings to the Treasury from banks saying this looks like money laundering. Mm-hmm. I'd like to know from the Treasury, were there any warnings on that? Because with that many offshore accounts, that's what those are for. It's either sheltering money against taxes or something really nefarious is going on. Money's going in and out that shouldn't be going in and out. And where's this money coming from? And where's this money going to?
Yeah, like banks that were supposedly just turning a blind eye to some of these transactions. Maybe we look at some of those. What about the charities? This is another thing, and I want to put maybe some of these things we can show on Wednesday for our TV show. Yeah. I mean, just the money alone is just a total mind screw. It is insane. But like charities, why were major billionaires going to Epstein to then funnel money, or not, I don't want to say funnel money, but then to have Epstein do major contributions to some of these charities? Why? Why would major billionaires, after Epstein has already been outed through a case, what was that, 2008, 2009, mm-hmm. He's already been outed as this person. Would you then go to this guy and then say, let's funnel money into some of these charities? Why? Unless you're trying to hide money, unless you're trying to direct it in certain ways. Again, these are tangible things that we can follow. This is money. It tells a story. We can follow it. Now, why isn't the mainstream media concentrating on that? Why isn't the New York Times saying, Bermuda? There's monies and shell companies in Bermuda? The U.S. Virgin Islands? This makes no sense. This is like Cyprus and gangsters in Ukraine, for crying out loud.
Which they also didn't cover.
It's right there, which they didn't cover. I mean, come on, guys.
I know. Well, we'll cover it on Wednesday, on the Wednesday night special. Don't miss it this Wednesday, only on Blaze TV and my YouTube channel, youtube.com/glennbeck.